He was blinded, not just physically, but spiritually, so that his eyes could be reopened by the grace of Christ. And from that moment on, he became Paul, the apostle to the nations, preaching the very Jesus he once tried to persecute. This shows us the truth that, again, no one is beyond the reach of God's grace. Christ can turn hatred into love, fear into courage, blindness into vision, and he did it for Paul. He can do it also for us. In the Gospel, Jesus speaks of another profound encounter, one we can experience daily. He says, "Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me and I in him." These words remind us that Jesus is not just a memory or a picture, but someone truly present in the Eucharist. So that every time we receive him in Holy Communion, we too are being transformed. Not in a flash of blinding light, but slowly and deeply from the inside out. Today, this theme of transformation and communion becomes even more meaningful as we rejoice in the election of our new Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV, formerly Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, an American from Chicago, Illinois, and a member of the Order of St. Augustine. So he is the first American Pope in the history of the Church. But then, as they say again and again, also the least of all Americans. He grew up in America, he grew up in Illinois, studied up to 8th grade, and then went to the seminary. But after he went to college and then to the seminary, but then after that spent almost half of his life now in Peru, and then went to Rome for 3 years, or became also the head of the Augustinian order. So in a way, while he is an American, and they say he is least of an American also, because again, he served as a missionary. He was a bishop in Peru. So being a bishop in Peru, I do not know if you've been to Peru, I haven't been to Peru, but it's almost like the Philippines, a poor country. That means he was walking with the poor, preaching the gospel in both urban and remote communities in Peru. And then later on again, he was called to Rome to serve as prefect of the dicastery for bishops. That department helps in choosing bishops for the world, or throughout the world. Now, in God's providence, Pope Leo XIV has been entrusted with the keys of Peter. His choice of the name Leo reflects his admiration for Pope St. Leo the Great, a courageous leader who defended the truth and unity in turbulent times. Pope Leo XIV begins his papacy with the heart of a missionary, the wisdom of a teacher, and the humility of a friar. But just as Paul needed Ananias, and just as Peter needed the prayers of the early church, our new Pope, Pope Leo XIV, needs us also. Our prayers, our support, our faithfulness. His mission is not his alone. It's not only his mission. His mission is also our mission. So how do we participate in this mission? First, by deepening our communion with Christ in the Eucharist, so that the more we are united to Jesus in the Eucharist, the more we are united to His Church. Second, by living our faith boldly and joyfully, at home, at work, and in our community. Just as Paul preached Christ without fear, we are also invited to bring Him everywhere without fear. And finally, by being people of reconciliation, like Ananias, who reached out in trust and healed someone the world feared. So that's how we participate in the mission of Pope Leo XIV. That again, by deepening our communion with Christ in the Eucharist, by living our faith boldly and joyfully in our own places, and by being people of reconciliation. So today, let us give thanks to God for the gift of Pope Leo XIV. May he lead the Church with clarity, with courage and compassion. And may we, nourished by the body and blood of Christ, join him in the work of proclaiming the gospel to a world hungry for truth and love. Amen.